Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Plug Talk Sports. I am joined by Giancarlo, myself, Brandon Hernandez,
Yo, yo.
and a lot of things been going on around in Miami. But before we get into that, let's go into our plug of the week. Giancarlo, what's the best thing so far this week?
For me, besides everything else going on with football, we're gonna get into it later. But it would have to be me beating you in fantasy football this week. So
Man, it's
take
not
that.
even. I can't even control. I can't even control that, man. I can't even. I don't know. I have like five different fantasy leagues. Not good at all.
No, this week is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I'll probably say good for me. I mean, and we're going to talk about later on the podcast, I know, but NBA Media Day is finally back. I got to hear a little bit of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant in the morning. In the afternoon, I heard a little bit of Boston Celtics, which I was very surprised that they even had a media day after the week they've had.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
again, I mean, like, I don't know if people were having issues finding the Miami Heat stream because I didn't get to see a lot of the Miami Heat stuff, which we'll go into this podcast as well. But the Miami Heat didn't like have a live stream of anything. I was going on Twitter nonstop. But I just need more injection. But like the media days, I need more of it. It's like a drug. I need more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. But now moving from that, what has been the worst part for the past week?
This is just for it was only for a game, but I
Okay.
was outraged. I have to call the Red Sox out
Mm,
because it was the Red Sox versus the Yankees, and we know that we're still waiting on Aaron Judge trying to get his 61st home run, right?
right.
I think it was a couple days ago. The Red Sox walked Aaron Judge 3 times in the game just so that he wouldn't get the home run during the
Despicable.
game. They only pitched him in the first inning and the last inning. That's it. I'm like, I have the Red Sox. You guys are cowards for that one game. Cowards. The whole entire stadium was booing. Your fans were booing you because you weren't pitching to him. That's what they came to see.
Yeah, to see history. Not even that. Doesn't even matter if it's against your rival. Just to see history in your building. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's something else. But for me personally, I think the worst thing, I mean, it's got to be this hurricane stuff. I mean, Hurricane
Yeah.
Ian, whatever you want to call it. It's getting kind of annoying, man. They just canceled my classes from like Wednesday through Friday. So I'm on the fence right now with my job. If they end up, telling us to go home, I don't know. I just might do a tour down in Miami. As weird as it
Hey,
might sound, the safest place away from a hurricane might be Miami. It just might be Miami. As
damn.
weird as that is.
We're the best.
Oh yeah, but speaking of Miami and hurricanes, we should probably just go straight into the college topic. The Miami Hurricanes against Middle Tennessee. For those who were unfamiliar with the game itself, it ended off with Middle Tennessee going into Hard Rock Stadium, winning it 45-31. And the Hurricanes, I mean, not even the tailgates went off to a right start. It was raining downpour. I
Yeah,
saw
it was bad.
the tailgates. The fans came inside to just find an offense that looked decapitated, like chickens with no heads. They were walking around. I mean, Giancarlo, obviously you watch the Canes like religion. So tell me, like what was your probable, I don't know how to really say it because I don't want to say what was your first topic to put on for this Hurricanes loss because everyone knows it's despicable. However, how would you describe right now?
I think it's not their worst loss. I think the worst loss was to FIU in 2019.
Okay.
But I think this is their most embarrassing loss because it's just like you were not. Nobody expected you to lose this game, and especially that you held Texas A&M to 17. The last game, you still lost, but your offense wasn't clicking. But then you scored 35 against Middle Tennessee, and you allow 45 with them. It was a completely flip. I don't know what happened, but we played terrible. I am not everything that happened in that game. I am not giving them any excuses. And I sent you before the podcast started something on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what his name is. Sorry, I can't address him, but they were saying that there's rumors that coaches in the ACC were taking shots at Josh Gaddis because of how bad the offense is looking at the Hurricanes, and supposedly they predicted that this wasn't going to work out from the beginning,
Right.
and supposedly that It's like is Josh Gadden's offense not allowing Tyler Van Dyke to flourish? I guess his offense not really for Tyler. As like you saw after the half, they put in Jake Garcia, and the offense started to click. I'm like, so is this offense more for Jake than Tyler? But like, we can't just tell Tyler to step back and then put in Jake Garcia because that's like it's like that's a confidence that depression.
No, yeah. I mean, plus nine of that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had Tyler Van Dyke as probably one of the top three, if not the top five ACC quarterbacks out there in the conference currently right now. And he's on his way to the NFL draft. I'm not sure if he's going to be a player to play on Sundays, maybe as
Yeah,
a backup spot, maybe, practice squad. But I mean, if Van Dyke is realizing that Garcia is right there, waiting in the shadows, I mean, he just might take the transfer portal. But I mean, going back from Van Dyke's day itself, we're talking about a touchdown. However, two interceptions will be followed with it.
back to back.
And 100, yeah, back. Not even to mention back to back, only 138 yards in this one. And Garcia comes out of nowhere as the backup,
Mm-hmm.
slowly try to build something. I know Miami was down by a good large sum, in the
Yeah,
midst of the game. However, Garcia 169 yards there. I mean, to me personally, I love Garcia's game. I think that he's kind of the dual quarterback that Miami might, transition to for an RPO type of
yeah.
option for pass and the run. But I mean, because we shouldn't just look at the quarterbacks. I mean, what can you tell us about the defense? Did the defense even look like it? Like it's always been an issue, and I don't understand. I mean, we had Miami Diaz, the former defensive coordinator, as the head
Yeah,
coach. Then we couldn't tackle with Diaz. And now with Cristobal, we're allowing Middle Tennessee to score 40 plus on us. Like, I
I
just don't
think
know what to make of it.
I personally think that after the loss from last week to Texas A&M, they came in like like not too enthusiastic. And obviously, the rain was like, and then also there's a bunch of drama involving the audience during this past week with Tyler
Really?
Van Dyke saying that you know we don't play in a college atmosphere. We play in an NFL atmosphere, so we'll never get to play in that that feeling where like you have all our all our friends from school come in and just like support us. We just have an empty NFL stadium.
No, exactly. And not
Maybe,
even that.
maybe we
It's
just fill
like,
up the sides, but
yeah, but I mean, they're taking, basically a shuttle from Coral Gables, 40-minute drive to Miami Gardens. I mean, if you ask me personally, you know what I also think it is? Because the University of Miami, of course, is a private university.
yeah, I
If
agree.
it was if it was a public university and you got people, going in there with a high exception rate, that might bring more students over. And then after that, you build onto that new stadium idea that will make students go closer to the campus to college games.
I have addressed that to many fans. It's like, why are you guys public? I'm pretty sure if you just opened your doors and made it public, you'd get so much more publicity. And even though Miami's already a big name because of
Right.
their history,
Of
but just
course.
imagine like instead of being private, being money driven, why don't you just open up for the people? Because I would love to go to the UM because that's my school. But forget about it, bro. 60K for a semester? Nah,
No,
bro.
exactly. Dude, exactly. Not even that. I mean, for me personally, I mean, you already know I'm here in UF, but everybody in Miami grew up wanting to be a Cane. I mean, I don't think there was a doubt about that. I don't know how many people, and no offense again, because I know Danny's not here with us right now, but not a
Yeah,
lot of people wanted to be an FIU Panther growing up. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to be
yeah,
out there. Braxton Berrios, if you grew up with 2017, they wanted to be there with Michael Irvin if you're over there before the millennium. I mean, UM has its own culture, but unfortunately, that culture, I have to say, it is dying. Either that's dying with a football program, or that's just dying because the fan base is starting to die out with it. But King culture is dying, unfortunately. I have to say that. I have to say that.
that's what I'm
But
hoping. Everybody, that's what all these old like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Michael Irving, all these old players are trying to bring back. That's what they think Mario Cristobal can do.
yeah,
And one thing I could see it happening is that he holds the players accountable. Like during the game, we saw that he was chewing these players out for missed assignments. In the press conference, he was like, "No, we got outcoached, we got outplayed, we got everything. We just played terrible. It was on me, it was on the players, on everybody. I don't know. We gotta fix this." because this was a terrible loss. I'm like, that's what I like because we never saw that with Manny Diaz. Manny
Right.
Diaz would just lose and he would just okay, it's like
Make an
yeah, this
excuse.
that he would never take accountability for things. That's
Hmm.
what I liked about Mario Cristobal. He was like, you know what? Yeah, it's my fault, our players' faults. It was all of us completely. We should have never lost this game.
No, yeah. But, with that, I mean, the Canes will probably have to look forward to something from the season because, from my understanding, I believe they're unranked now with a 2-2 record and still plenty of games left in their conference and against some high ACC opponents. Um, but now going into the wider scheme of things, college football itself, I mean, as weird as it sounds, this has been a crazier week than we've seen in the past so far in the season. The Arkansas Texas A&M game was
Oh
insane.
my God, yes.
Somehow the Florida Tennessee game was close. And again, I'm not afraid of the Vols. I'll go into that myself. But I mean, what was the team that you saw from this week that impressed you the most?
I know they lost. I know they
Okay.
lost. But Wake Forest, bro.
Mm,
They went to double overtime with Clemson. So I think Wake Forest was number 21 or 22, and Clemson was 5.
yep.
I'm I was like watching this game from on my phone on ESPN Gamecast. I couldn't really see it, but like I saw the score. It was back and forth, back and forth. Wake Forest took the lead, then Clemson took the lead, and I'm like, bro, Wake Forest is actually holding themselves to Clemson. And I've been saying, remember last week when I said that they didn't play that well against
Georgia
I
Tech
forgot
or
who.
whatever. It was some random school. It was like,
Yeah, it was some random school, and I'm like, hey guys, this isn't looking too good for Clemson because it was a Conference USA team. I forgot who it was. Sorry, I can't address you guys. Give you some credit, but we're seeing Clemson not being the same as they used to, so that gives me hope because later down the road we play Clemson the last second week of the season,
yeah.
but
Honestly,
it'll have to be Wake Forest.
I don't know because I mean, no offense to Clemson, no offense to but it might be a dumpster fire for game. I don't know the way the two offenses are going to be going into that week. But
Oh
I have
yeah,
to say, for me personally, Adrian Martinez, he leaves Nebraska now at Kansas State, goes into Oklahoma's territory. I
yep.
mean, they ended up winning that one 41-34, and Martinez was on a tear. I kid you not. If Scott Foster had this Martinez in Nebraska, he probably would have still had a job. He probably still would have had a job out there in Nebraska. But Martinez himself, 1 touchdown, 234 yards passing. However, using his legs, this is a crazy stat. 4 touchdowns, 4 tutties, using his legs, 148 yards. I mean, he was him. He takes off. So I don't even know what it was. I mean, to be honest, it's something I haven't seen in a long time because I know I talk about Anthony Richardson prior in weeks past on this podcast, especially from the Utah game. His performance in this one, besides the Bryce Young week 1 performance of 6 touchdowns, this might
Yeah.
be probably the best performance I've seen in college football so far this year. For Martinez going onto the road, going against number 18 in the nation, and Gabriel, who's the quarterback over there that transferred from UCF, is now in Oklahoma. That was kind of the main storyline of that entire game about these two quarterbacks actually battling it out. But I gotta say, I mean, you look like to be the Martinez show. I think that Martinez probably might be, if he continues this, I don't know if this is a one-hit wonder game against, a ranked opponent, but he just might be an underdog, maybe a dark horse in the Heisman votes. I'm just saying, Kansas State, I mean, the state of Kansas right now is pretty damn good in football. I mean, Kansas, the Jayhawks, they're 4-0 right now after their victory over Duke this year.
What do you think about Texas losing to Texas Tech in
I
overtime?
mean, the Red Raiders, man, I know a lot of people don't look at that program. They don't think, oh, college football. I mean, I understand that more or less it's gotten like a quick reputation for basketball for their recent success in March Madness over the years. But I mean, Texas, that game against Bama, I thought for a second that they would be back. I really did thought they were on their way there in the Big 12, and obviously they're going to meet in the SEC for the Southeastern Conference. But it's hard to make up for that. I mean, I think it gives me more questions on Texas than I've had already because I just don't know where to place them right now. Are they a ranked team? Are they at least top 25 team? Are they on the bubble? Or are they just being overhyped?
Kind of like
I don't
us.
know that. I don't
Kind
know
of
that.
like Miami, right? Like
Mhm.
they could be ranked, but just they don't. They have that like they have a like I guess they get hyped and they lose, then they just can't consistently come back up and win. I'm like this is this game. And no, especially wait. FIU lost,
Oh.
Miami lost, Gators lost, and South Florida lost. Excuse me, is there some brujeria going over here? Some kind of voodoo, bro?
Something on
Is
the
Ian?
Saturday and push the hurricane away. Guaranteed. Something on a
Oh my
Saturday,
god.
man. But actually, now that you mentioned Miami, and especially the sad parts of college football from the Sunshine State, let's talk a little bit about the NFL and the Miami Dolphins coming out of nowhere to beat out Buffalo for the first time in the last
Okay.
7 games against each other. We're talking about a 21-19 victory, the Miami Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills at home. And this is a game that I have to say, as entertaining as it was going down the stretch, my heart was racing.
I agree. Same with my.
I'm telling you, because from the area that I'm from, right, I don't have the Dolphin games on TV, and I was at a
Yeah.
meeting for the paper I work for. So I was like, somebody had it on their laptop. So I'm like zooming in on the laptop. It's like, oh, Waddle, good catch. Oh, okay. Man, when I kid you not, that fourth down play, basically in the end zone, where Josh Allen ended up throwing it straight to the dirt, I still can't believe that.
Wide open.
Dude, I still can't believe that the fact that the Dolphins did that, plus with a butt punt, that was a crazy game. That was a crazy game.
I think just like last week, I said with the Ravens,
Mm-hmm.
the Dolphins didn't win it. Buffalo lost it,
Right,
bro.
right.
If Josh Allen would have just made that throw in the end zone, the game would have been over. And then especially that the Dolphins they a butt punt and turns into a safety. Buffalo gets it back, and they have a chance to win the game. All they needed was a field goal, and you look at that. Luckily, there was a holding call, which screwed them over, and they couldn't. They were out of field goal range, and then all of a sudden, the guy couldn't get to the sideline to stop the clock, and then it was game over by then.
Yeah,
Whole other
but
cowboy repeat.
no, yeah, but man, also because I think it was also a missed field goal as well from Buffalo in the middle of that
Oh,
fourth
yeah, to
quarter.
start the game.
So it's like, I mean, this might be one of the biggest what ifs. What if the field goal is made? Because this game, I mean, from the way that the AFC East is looking like right now, this just might define the division. I mean, being one, if like, right, you
I
got to go
agree.
now to Buffalo if you're Miami. But if you're 1-1 against the Buffalo Bills in your division, and the last thing you need to do is just win out the rest of your season, at least better than the opposing team. I mean, I like the Dolphins' chances. You go against the majority of the NFC North, and the Vikings sort of like a 50-50 team all the time. The Chicago Bears that I don't really have a lot of, ideal threat
Yeah.
awareness of them. I don't know exactly how big of a threat they are in that sense. And then Green Bay on Christmas, I mean, come on. I'm not I don't know how many people are going to watch that game. The NFL to even have a Christmas game for the Dolphins. That's ridiculous. I'd rather be watching some NBA basketball. However, the way that the Dolphins schedule is right now, they have a pretty good road ahead of them to win that division. I'm not gonna lie to you. This game was huge, and as I mentioned before, a 21-19 victory for the Dolphins, so very close. But what about the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills losing his mind in
I
the
love that. I saw that live and I cracked up. Oh my
fourth?
god, Ken Dorsey, buddy, listen, you need to keep your composure.
The man was ripping up playbooks. He was yelling at Josh Allen, who already had his helmet off. Somebody had to cover the camera to make sure, like, hey, let's not get fired right now, okay? Let's not get
Exactly.
fired. But the Dolphins' victory, as impressive as it wasn't the only thing that we saw from this NFL. We saw the Carolina Panthers and Baker Mayfield got their first victory of the season. As weird as it is, that was a nationally broadcasted game,
I don't know
and
why.
I don't know why. You have the Dolphins and Bills, for example. I mean, the Ravens and the Patriots. I'm pretty sure you were watching a little bit of that as well. So it was weird
I
to see
tried
the
to.
Saints against the Panthers. But I mean, because we're talking about the AFC East. What do you think of the Patriots after that Baltimore game? Because could you also give us a little bit of intake about Mac Jones? Because I believe he got a little bit injured.
Yeah, I saw an update like an hour ago that Mac Jones will be out for a few weeks
Mhm.
with an injury. They haven't really stated exactly what it is yet, but he'll be out. So as of right now, we don't know who's going to be the backup. But I mean, they played better offensively this week, scoring. I think it was to be on 26. I think it was
Right?
just to make sure. Okay, apparently, yeah, 26-37. I mean, they played against the Ravens. I mean, defensively, they could have played a little bit better against the Ravens after what happened last week, but they made it competitive, which I'm liking so far. But now they lost Mac Jones. Now I need to see how the offense will step up
Right.
because now without Mac Jones, they can potentially these couple games will make or break their season or our season.
No, I mean, I can only
It's
imagine, but because obviously Mac Jones, he's going to be the main guy over there for the Patriots' future. So you don't want him to get injury prone, especially with something lower body, even an ankle, ACL, whatever it might be.
yeah.
But I mean, that guy is a huge part of this division. I mean, from Josh Allen to Tagovailoa, and then Zach Wilson when he does come back. I mean, this is going to be a young division as it is, but the quarterback battle is going to be going on for years. So Mac Jones got to be a part of it somehow. And then also looking from around the NFL, is there a specific game you had, your eyes on the entire time throughout that Sunday that you had in mind?
Yeah, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Because I had a
My
couple
God,
myself. I mean, I
it
won't
would
go into much of it,
it would
but
have to be the Colts and the Chiefs. The
mm,
Colts upsetting the Chiefs, man, and the Jaguars and the Chargers. That would be it.
hey, I mean, Matt Ryan, he's elite. He's an elite quarterback.
Nah, man, he was pissing me off, man. My boy Michael Pittman didn't have a single catch the entire
He's
first
never
half.
gonna get, dude. I have Pittman in
He
one of my
needs
other
more.
drafts.
He needs more targets.
He doesn't get. He has like what, 2 targets that entire game?
I don't know. He still gave me like 17 points. I loved it.
Oh, must be nice. Must be nice. Had to bench him. Had to bench him. But actually, speaking of which, I actually do have a situation with one of my fantasy leagues where I have Russell Wilson and Jimmy Garoppolo, who I picked up from waivers, and they're battling out to the death for basically the starting spot of my team. Somehow, some
Yeah.
way, Garoppolo got more points even despite stepping out of bounds for a quick
A
safety.
safety idiot.
But what's going on for some of these teams? I mean, because we talk about, the AFC West with the Broncos, Raiders, Chargers,
Oh, I
Kansas
don't know
City,
what's
as
going
they
on.
should be one of the top teams. That division looks like it's sinking through the dirt. I mean, the Raiders are the only team that have gone 0-3 so far this year. Herbert
Mhm.
has that cracked rib, and I don't even know how he's still walking through it. I mean, he barely even made it out on the field, getting, I want to say, demolished against the Jacksonville Jaguars, because how many times do the Jacksonville Jaguars really win games? But this isn't the same Charger team we were expecting this year. From Derek Carr to Herbert to Patrick Mahomes, I mean, this is looking like a fragile division right now. And the Broncos, I mean, Russ is not cooking anything. If Russ is cooking anything right now, he's cooking like one of those chicken pot pies you put in the microwave and he left it for two
Ooh.
minutes. It's still cold. Russ is,
It's
he
not,
cannot cook.
man. To be honest, I'm just I'm just surprised on the Raiders, man. They have Renfro, they got Devontae Adams, they got Waller, they got Josh Jacobs, they got talent, they got Derek Carr throwing the ball, so that's not a bad quarterback. Their defense is not bad either, and somehow they can't find a way to win the game. They should have beat Arizona last week.
No, yeah. In week 2 with that 20-0 lead, that was the biggest deficit in their program, not program, what I'm talking about college, in their franchise's history that they ended up giving up 20 points like that.
Like I was like really praising them the before the season started because like, damn, because they were doing really well at the end of the last season, and they didn't have that many weapons. Now they picked up Devontae and probably some draft picks. I'm like, yo, watch out. They got what's his name from the Patriots, Josh McDaniels as their
Yeah.
offensive coordinator or their head coach, I think.
No,
So
head
I'm
coach.
just like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, your offense should be potent enough. They should be one of the best offenses in the league, but they're 0
Exactly.
3. Maybe they have to maybe Derek Carr and them are trying to fix the scheme up a bit. Maybe find their way throughout the season. Maybe they'll get hot at the end. Who knows? It's still early, but
Yeah,
But
but
I'm just disappointed in them right now.
but that entire group of quarterbacks in that division looked weak, and again, I mean, that should have been one of the
Mahomes,
more dominant ones.
Carr, Herbert, they all lost this weekend.
All lost. All lost. As crazy as it is, apparently it's a fight in that division, despite none of those teams even having like an undefeated year. And I thought Kansas City, not the Chargers, because obviously they had to go against Kansas City during this week, but the Chiefs and at least maybe the Broncos, the way their schedule looked out, I thought in the beginning of the year, those might be one of the two more dominant teams in that division. And again, as I mentioned before, Russ isn't cooking. Kansas City gets upset in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, I mean, I can't even. I mean, that somebody's got to put an experiment over there in Las Vegas. I have no idea what's going on over there. And speaking of experiments, actually, because do you have HBO Max? Do you watch? Did you watch Hard Knocks this year? The Detroit Lions,
No, bro. I've been saying to Daniel and you that
right?
don't sleep on the Lions. I've been saying the Lions. My boy TJ Hawkinson has been cooking
I'm
the
t-
sauce.
man is doing a lot of that right now. I'm telling you. But Detroit, they ended up losing against the Vikings 28-24. But man, the fight in that team, man.
I'm
This is
telling
not the
you.
same Lions team as last year. If you watch any bit of Hard Knocks this year, one of the biggest names, besides of course Jared Goff, I mean Jamal Williams. I'm just looking at the stat
Mhm.
line right now because Jamal Williams, for a memorable moment in Hard Knocks was his speech as he was tear-eyed talking to his team. I
Okay.
mean, that transitions into the NFL regular season. In week 3, we're talking about 20 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns for Williams. I'm telling you, he might be more or less an underrated player, not only on the Detroit side of things, however, also in the NFL's grand scheme. Because honestly, I think he's a great player to even be a Pro Bowler. As a running back right now in the NFC, I think he's a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. A little bit early, week 3, I understand that, but I mean, Detroit, that's got to be a team to look out for.
I think Detroit, what they're missing is maybe a good defensive player and one more good wide receiver. They
Mhm.
got right now Amon St. Brown. They
Right.
got Swift, Jamal Williams, Jared Goff, TJ Hawkinson. They have decent players. I think they just need one more guy or two more guys, one on each side of the ball, to help them and make a difference. And I think this team will go far. I don't know if Jared Goff is the guy. Maybe they might need to switch him
Yeah,
out, maybe draft somebody, but they can be dangerous. They can beat any team right now, guaranteed.
they really could. I mean, as unpredictable as this NFL season has been so far, I mean, anything can happen. The landscape is
This
wide open.
this
The
year right now,
landscape is
this
wide
year right
open.
now is crazy. I don't know what's going on. Some voodoo.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Cowboys and the Giants game is close right now.
6-3.
Uh,
Giants
six
have the
to
ball.
6-3. That sounds like a Big Ten score. That sounds like a defensive mastermind score. I don't know, man.
Or very trash teams playing against each other.
Probably, but then again, if you have Danny Dimes, I mean, I'm telling you, love little Daniel Jones. I'm not even a Giants fan like that. I just love the fact he's called Danny Dimes. Makes no sense. It
Then he's
makes
like
no
because he always fumbles the ball. That's why.
sense. Yeah, always fumbles the ball when they do dime package. But uh, also, I have to say the elephant in the room because I think it was announced earlier today for the
Yeah.
NFL. The Pro Bowl is no longer. Now they have the Pro Bowl games, basically.
Thank God.
What do you mean? Thank God. So you're for the games. You're for the flag football, the dodgeball, and all that.
I will take that because the disrespect that these players will just go out there just to like waste people's time and money just to sit there and watch these idiots just like run around, not playing any defense, not trying at all, unless it's like the last 2 minutes of the game where the game is like 20-21, and they will they get the last touchdown? Will they get the last field goal? They always have to make up the story. Like nobody's trying the entire game. Oh, wide receivers turn into quarterbacks. Defensive ends turn into running backs. They just play around like this. Like, bro, no one wants to see this. We want to see an actual game. The best players and the best players. That's why people watch the NBA All Star game because
Exactly.
they're there. They're playing. It's a joke. It's a joke. And
Yeah.
now since they
So
want to play games on the field, they can actually play games.
okay, but like, I get you there because like me as an NBA guy, I love the NBA All Star Week because it does have all those competitive parts to it. Plus, not even that, they make it even more competitive now with changing a little bit of the rules here and there for first to 24, and also
Yeah.
playing for like charities and whatnot. That's what I think the Pro Bowl needed. You had to give it a reason that it should matter for some of these players. Give them like a crazy paycheck. I'm pretty sure they already do get paid just being in the Pro Bowl and maybe having some incentives for their contracts for winning the Pro Bowl. But make it go crazy for a charity, right? Make sure that
Yeah.
these players have like a good reason to, give us a good show and also showcase their talents of the reason why they're in the Pro Bowl. If you ask me personally, right, there is a lot of things I would love to see. However, I'm not going to turn on my TV during a Sunday afternoon to watch Aaron Rodgers play dodgeball against Mike Evans, right? I'm not going to turn on my TV that. I'm not going to turn on my TV for that. To have it as games like that, like the NBA, and as well for the MLB, Major League Baseball, you got things like the home run derby or the dunk contest or like special teams skills, whatnot. Dodgeball, flag football, I can put a bid for that. I don't mind flag football. But all that target practice, I mean, you might as well just have the Pro Bowl going out there. Have a little bit of the arm strength that they used to do in the early 2000s with Brett Favre when he would like throw the ball way down there against Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Like you have something like that where like, okay, it relates to the NFL and I'm interested. But dodgeball, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I understand the NFL and their sponsor of Play 60, but like they didn't have to literally do that. Like to actually do dodgeball and those activities.
I
I
would
think
like maybe if they had like an incentive where like, okay, they put AFC and NFC against each other, right? And
right.
then like put like something big on the table, like, okay, whoever wins the Pro Bowl, let's say if AFC wins, the next the AFC will have the bid for the next Super Bowl location.
That's actually a good idea.
So I'm
That's
like,
actually a good idea.
so
I'm
it's
not
like,
gonna lie.
okay, who gets to have the next year's location? So let's see, like,
Yeah.
okay, this and that, then there's like now you open shit up, like, hey, look, now we have to play for real. Like, hey, we have a chance to play, on the AFC side, not their side. So I'm like, come on.
No, exactly. But I was also thinking because like in the National Hockey League, the NHL, they have like their All-Star week going with, specifically, keep it more divisional than conference. The Metropolitan going against the Atlantic and the Pacific going against Central. What if you had something where it would be, as weird as it sounds, a weekend long event in different locations, where you have one location had a host of who comes out of the AFC East, another location of who comes out of the NFC West, and just have like all these different divisions, their best players playing a 7-on-7 flag football. At least have that. At least if you're gonna do the flag football part, I think you make it to a wide span of showing like, oh, who's the best players from the best team 7-on-7. Because being from South Florida, we've seen a lot of 7-on-7s.
Yeah.
Like from the high school level, even those who even go on to the pros and whatnot, they still come down to South Florida to do 7-on-7 drills. Why not have that showcase on national television? I would love to have that. Love to have that.
I think it would also like, how would I say this? It would be nice to have maybe like kind of like what you're saying, but like events in different, like, so if let's say, like, I think Miami right now is top of the division right now, right? So
Mhm.
Miami would host the would let's say the Bills at home, a Pro Bowl event between the Bills and the Dolphins,
Right?
and for each division, first and second, will host a thing in their city, and then it'll bring whoever wants to come from Buffalo and come watch the game here. They can if they want to.
Exactly, exactly. But so from getting that out of the way, because for that was like breaking news today that was made out public. Speaking of today, as I mentioned before when we first started this, NBA Media Days is finally upon us. The NBA, we're getting into October, man. I'm telling you right now, even though the Heat, they don't have an NBA Christmas Day game or any holiday games, as weird as that is, they got the first 10 of their first 14 games at home in Miami. And they all started with the Miami Media Days, and they had Bam Adebayo talking, Tyler Hero, as well as Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler, the new hairstyle. So it's a really odd thing to see Jimmy Butler have. He's always changing a little bit here and there. However, there was a lot of things that we saw from the media day that probably is going to relate later on to the season. We talked about, Bam Adebayo possibly having, from 15 to 18 shots now. Jimmy Butler was also asked about playing potentially the 4 as the power forward position besides Bam Adebayo. So we're going to go, brick by brick going into what we heard. But John Cook, Jimmy Butler playing the 4. How do you feel about that?
I want him playing the 2 or the 1. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Like I'm still on the. I've said this weeks and weeks already. That until the Heat can show me that they're actually trying to win a championship, not just make news headlines. Because ever since the Kevin Durant news, the Kyrie news, there's they signed Udonis Haslam, which is still the dumbest thing they could have done. If you're listening, I don't care. Come at me. They haven't re-signed Tyler Hero, which is still a drama because he wants 25 mil. Buddy, you're not worth no 25 mil.
Ooh.
You can defend water on ice.
Hot take. Hot take.
They haven't signed anybody to replace PJ Tucker. They haven't gone Carmelo, which he's open. Jay Crowder, he's available. He's trying to leave Phoenix, and they agreed to it.
Yep.
Yesterday. Dwight Howard is still available. He's a veteran. He can play some minutes when Adebayo is on the bench. He can provide some veteran leadership, if that's
True.
what apparently Udonis provides.
Yeah.
And so they haven't done anything so far. And supposedly they're talking to Kelly Olynyk. They denied that rumor. Like Kelly Olynyk can shoot. He can defend. He was on that championship that finals team against the Lakers.
Oh yeah. Not too long ago either. Not too long ago.
Exactly. So I'm just like, why are they denying these players when you know they can play? They can provide for you. They're not scrubs. They have experience, and then he continue just to just, oh my god. I've already said I'm not watching Heat basketball until they can prove to me, and I can actually see them making the finals this year, because I've seen all these teams improve except for them. I will not be watching Miami Heat basketball this season unless otherwise. I'll watch any other team but the Heat. I'm sorry. I have to call it like I see it. I'm not gonna waste my nights watching 3-4 hours of you guys win these pointless games just to make the playoffs as a 6th or 5th seed, then just to get knocked out in the first round or second round because you guys don't have any bench or any chemistry whatsoever.
Oh yeah. Plus, not even that. Because the way I'm thinking about, because Jimmy Butler was there, basically saying that that's not my position. I don't play the 4. I don't play power forward. However, if Coach Spo wants it, Spoelstra, if he ends up going out to Jimmy Butler and saying, "Hey, we need you for that position," I mean, he's willing to do it as a team player. But what I'm thinking right now, in the sense of the starting lineup, because obviously Max Strus is still on this team, and Duncan Robinson is still on this team, so you have some returning guys who are still, in my honest opinion, either unproven or unworthy enough to really improve their game. Like Duncan Robinson, I might as well say that he's just a spot shooter, and he has the wingspan enough, and probably the size and the frame to be an elite defender if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't think he puts in the work like that.
He's been there for 3 seasons already. No defense whatsoever. There's no defensive improvement on either Duncan Robinson nor Tyler Hero. They can shoot threes and they can shoot, but shooting is not everything. You gotta at least try to stop
the other part of the ball. You gotta do the other part of the ball.
Like we saw that for Boston. If they would have just played a little bit better defense on Boston, to be honest, I know you guys won, but like if they would have played some, like obviously their offense was atrocious. Like the offense was bad, but if they just would have played a little bit better defense, maybe that would have made all the difference. But they just choose not to.
I mean, to be honest, because we're going a little bit off top from the NBA media day, but that entire Heat and Celtics series was like a blowout, a blowout, a blowout. I mean, that was like the most. It was like a flip of a coin every single night. You know?
I don't know what.
Yeah, me either. But
I don't know what to say. It's
I don't know. But I think one interesting part, I think also from the media day itself that we got is Bam Adebayo now taking, as I mentioned before, 18 shots. He's looking to take, more time with the ball, on ball, probably working the post now, for the offense, which of course takes the ball away, as I mentioned before, from Duncan Robinson and Max Strus, who, again, aren't looking to be improving much. Maybe Max Strus on low key, I can do Max Strus. I think that he's going to be a phenomenal player this season. However, do you believe that Bam Adebayo now being the ball dominant guy on offense, the way that they're trying to make it, do you think this might at least switch things up a little bit?
So as of right now, I would have Kyle Lowry at 1, Jimmy at 2, either 2 or 3 maybe. But I like Strus, but he's just too new to add it to the starting lineup right now. I was talking about the second. I'll come off the bench, maybe 6 man or 7th, but I would actually put in Oladipo because we saw the Heat's defense was actually much better with him on the court, and he actually provided that kind of like the offense that he were looking for, but they couldn't consistently get. And then whenever he'd come on the court, he would make a difference, and he provided that energy. So I would put him in on the starting lineup at 3, Bio, and then man,
Does Dwayne
Dwight.
Dedman get a starting nod?
No, no. And then, man, I'm just in between uh Hero or somebody else or Duncan. Man, if we had Jay Crowder, bro, if we had just like Jay Crowder or I would put PJ in there or Carmelo, bro. We can get Carmelo. I'd put Carmelo automatically in that 4 spot.
No, yeah. I mean, not even that. I mean, you still got a lot of guys. I mean, because the majority of the Heat's late signings, besides of course Udonis Haslam, I mean, they were basically G League, Summer League guys. I mean, guys who haven't really proven themselves yet. Obviously, the Miami Heat and Pat Riley, have a keen eye for hidden talent. We've obviously seen that in the past for the Miami Heat. So, again, unproven players, a majority of the bench being that. Now, do you risk that for bringing in Carmelo Anthony? And again, Melo, phenomenal player. Obviously, we've seen what he's done in the past. But now in the present, I mean, the guy's like, 37, 38 years old. He can still give you a bucket. Or do you risk the potential of like a young guy, potentially being the next thing for Melo? Not saying we have anything like that in the Heat right now, but do you even do that trade?
I think I would make that trade. You know why? Just to like point it out to these people that want to support this UD thing. If you support UD still on the team, then you should support Carmelo or Dwight Howard on the team. Because just imagine Dwight Howard and Adebayo teaching our new draft pick, Jovic, how it is to play in the NBA. Center for center, giving him tips and tricks and how to build. Imagine, bro, you have these players showing him how to play, and he can shoot already. And he's a little bit skinny. Maybe he can bulk up a bit.
No, yeah, bulk up a little bit. He's got the Eastern European frame, so he's tall, wide shoulders, a low key Jokic in his own right. Right, he has a little bit of potential there. I'm not gonna lie, not MVP caliber, but he might be something for the Heat.
So if you're gonna approve UD's way of veteran leadership and mentoring, then because what is UD gonna teach Jovic? Yeah, just sit down and watch the game. That's mostly what he does. Just sit down and watch a game. Because even when LeBron was here, I mean, I guess but when LeBron was here and when Shaq was here, no one cared UD was here. Let's all be honest here. It was either Wade or Shaq or Wade, LeBron, Bosh. That's it. No one really cared that UD was there. The whole reason everybody's hyped about UD is because he's been there for a long time and it's a no name in the community. That is it.
True. Yeah, but also because I also want to go back because when you were talking about the starting lineups potentially for the Miami Heat this upcoming year, Tyler Hero, he was also participating in this year's media day, and they talked about, him potentially making the starting lineup. Pat Riley said that, Tyler had to prove himself in training camp if he really wanted to make that spot on Eric Spoelstra's top five. John, could he do it? Could he do it?
With Coach Spo as the head coach,
Mm-hmm.
technically anything is possible because he put Wade on the bench when Wade was your leading scorer. Imagine that.
No, that's
So
right.
if you were able to see that blasphemy happen, then I think he does have a chance. But I think he'll put him in if he improves his lifestyle out of you know his off the court stuff with the drama with the cheating and stuff with his
Yeah.
girlfriend and stuff and like that, and his defense. If he can just improve those two things and get out of the limelight for a second, because I low key feel, which I always have a problem with these players coming to Miami, they get too into the lifestyle and now the South Beach, the drinking, the partying, all the sunshine. They get too into it, and so it gets in their heads. I think Tyler Hero and Miami is getting to his head. That's why I feel like that's one of the problems that's going on. So I feel like if he can fix all that stuff off the court and fix his defense, improve his shooting, he should be able to get the starting role. Maybe not 25 mil, maybe like 18, 17.
Yeah,
Nah, but you're not
just
worth
don't break
big
that
bucks.
20 million mark. You just can't break that 20 million mark with him because again, I mean Tyler Hero, he's as young as he is and as talented as he is, he still has a long way to go in the NBA. He talks about potentially being, the idea of being a starter can also add on to him being an all-star for next season.
I
And
agree.
again, I mean, that's a far sketch because the way that the Eastern Conference right now is, especially with the guard position, I mean, you got to go against James Harden for the role, Drew Holiday for the role. You got to go for, I mean, I can go on and on.
Trey
Kyrie
Young.
Irving, Jaylen Brown, if you want to include him as a shooting guard. I mean, it's a hard feat, but, Tyler Hero, he does believe in himself that he should be, again, in that conversation with Luka Doncic as well as Trae Young. You can do whatever you want with that information. Those are Hero's words, not mine, not mine. I'm not. I won't be dying on that hill with them. But and also before we leave away from the Miami Heat part of things, because Jimmy Butler, obviously, he has his own, lifestyle that he goes on with the coffee runs. Now he was in Colombia over the off season. He was working out there, even exhibition a little bit for what I'm guessing is cocoa beans or whatever you want to call it. I'm a
Chocolate.
coffee. My apologies, chocolate, whatever it is. Like I'm a coffee guy, right? I'm a huge coffee guy. I've never had Big Face Coffee. I never had Jimmy Butler stuff. He had a location in Miami, I think, for like a little bit,
I never
but
had it. I need to try it.
me either. The guy made it in a hotel room in Disney, and now he's taking trips to Colombia and everywhere to scout out coffee. Like
Coffee's good, bro.
it really is. But one of the craziest thing I thought, apparently, about 1/3 of the interview for the media day was like solely on coffee. It was like, oh, when you're gonna go to, when you're gonna go to Colombia? Are you gonna go to Brazil? Are you gonna go to, are you gonna go to Brazil and not see Neymar but see coffee? Like,
Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's got some good Arabic coffee beans.
no,
Don't
yeah.
sleep. They got the heat.
Honestly, I mean, the way we're talking right now, I know it's 9:50 right now, but I mean, some cafe con leche would be nice.
Oh
Cafe
my
con leche
god.
would be nice.
Ah.
I haven't. You know what I hate about because I'm in northern Florida, so they don't have a
Yeah.
vodka here. They don't have that here, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's easy, bro. Easy. Let me tell you something.
So,
Go on Amazon. Cuban coffee maker. You buy the coffee. I'm pretty sure they have it at Publix. You
okay,
get it.
okay, write it down.
You just you get the milk, bro. You heat the milk up. You pour the coffee in. Put some whatever sugars you want. Ahí está.
Mhm.
Café con leche, bro.
Oh,
So good, bro. Oh my god.
damn. If
With a
only
nice
I knew how
toast.
to cook. But then again,
Nah,
it's cafe con leche. How hard can it be? How hard can it be?
bro. I'm telling you,
So,
It's good, bro. It's so good.
It's too good. I'm missing out on food, man. I'm telling you. I mean, for me personally, I mean, I'm looking pretty good right now in Gainesville. I got Chipotle not too far away from me.
I
So
hate
bean burritos,
Chipotle.
$7, $8, killing the bank account. But as long as I'm alive, so it's pretty good. But speaking of things that are not really good at the moment, the Miami Marlins and again,
Here we go.
I mean, I don't know exactly what the stats are. I don't know exactly how this has gone to be, but
I
Don
warned
Mattingly of the
you.
Miami Marlins, Don Mattingly of the Miami Marlins, the manager, has
Yes.
decided that he will not be returning back with the team. He has been with the organization of Miami back and forth. Both of them, I think, probably agree to part ways for the future. But the Miami Marlins right now, I mean, they're not looking too hot. For a second there, I thought that Miami had a chance. They were going through August, they were going through July, like the sluggish season. I know Jonka's having that face right now because he never had faith in the Marlins from the start for good
I
reason.
told you and dare you on this show that do not put your faith in the Marlins because they will bite you at the end. They will not do a thing. You guys are like, oh, don't worry. The second half, watch, they'll flourish. And I pointed out every single game. I told you the Dodgers, the Mets, all the games. I remember that day vividly, and I warned you.
Yes. We were going through it all. I thought they were going to play good against the Phillies. I didn't look. I'm sorry. I might sound like Shaquille O'Neal right now talking about Christian Wood, but I was unaware about their game. The Phillies, they're just might be a good team.
With Bryce Harper now, yeah, they've been hitting
No, I
better.
mean, yeah, but I mean, Bryce Harper was on the Nationals for how long, and then when he leaves,
Yeah, I
so I
hate
don't
Bryce
know.
Harper so much. I hate him
Again,
so
as
much.
a Marlin guy, not a huge Bryce Harper guy. Excuse me.
Ah man, 63 and 90, 33 point. They're already eliminated anyways, so there's no
Mhm.
point of even talking about the playoffs for these people. But it's just the Marlins live, and I know these people. Some Marlins fans will agree, some people will disagree. There's always people like that. But the Marlins, the moment they released Giancarlo Stanton, they lost so much offense and so many people want to see home runs now. They don't. The game has been changing. This is why they keep losing. The MLB is losing ratings every year because people want to go to the stadium, the arena, whatever you want, the field, and watch
Mhm.
people hit home runs. That's why Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, you know, all these other Mookie Betts and Dodgers, they want to see home runs. So when you have a team that doesn't do that, you can't get scores. Yeah, you could score by runs by like hitting bases, double singles, but when you get a home run, people get excited. You want the kids to come out, and then especially like their drafting so far has been terrible.
Yeah,
They have one good pitcher. They got Jazz Chisholm, which is like supposedly I have a friend at my job that he's an agent for one of the players, and supposedly he said that Jazz Chisholm is an absolute nuisance in the locker room,
really.
showing up high to practice. And so he's like, bro, the guy's nonsense. And so he's not even a good example for the rookies or for the league in general. And so you got that. It's not a good look for the Marlins. And the Marlins need to their pitching is okay, so it's okay. It's not good, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's on the fence.
They need is sluggers. They need hitters. They need guys that can get on base. Quote from what's the movie?
From
Oh my god,
Moneyball, Brad Pitt,
Moneyball.
he
Yeah,
does
yeah. He's like
gets
he
on
gets on
base.
base. That's what it is. That's why we see all these sports: football, basketball, hockey. We see all these soccer. They want scores. They want touchdowns. They want home runs. It's all about offense now. So with that in mind, that's what the Marlins should be getting. They should be getting sluggers. They should be getting hitters. Guys that have an average of like 290 to 300 above coming out of the double A or the triple A leagues or the minor leagues. They should be getting from these big prospects. Maybe from these different teams you can find one and maybe do some trades or something. But you can improve these players. You can improve the team overnight just by picking up 2, 3 good hitters. It'll provide you a good list of hitters to go into every game, bro. Like you got for the Yankees, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. You got Rizzo. You got Peralta, and then obviously some other people are injured right now, but Gleyber Torres, bro, that's already like 5, 6 people I'm already naming, and they have more than 5 home runs in the season.
Okay. So you don't have to flex on Miami fans like that. I know you're a Yankee guy now.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but like one of those guys was your guy, bro. One of them was your guy, and you traded
That's
over
true.
here. Why? Like, especially Giancarlo Stanton, and I'm Giancarlo. So just imagine how like him going from Miami to the Yankees. I wasn't mad about it, but like, bro, like I love to go to the Marlins Stadium. I was going every month to a game because
No,
Giancarlo Stanton.
same. Like when Christian Yelich was here, Ozuna,
Exactly, him too.
Realmuto,
They
like,
traded all of them
dude,
away.
it's horrible. It's horrible. And I understand, like the Giancarlo Stanton. I think this would probably be one of the biggest things in Miami history in the sense of franchising and like contracting, like talks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The 10-year Giancarlo Stanton contract, the fact that we couldn't really help out Giancarlo and we had to go send him off. I understand that part. But the idea that you get rid of D. Gordon, the outfield, which was multiple All-Stars, besides Giancarlo, you had Ozuna, you also had Yelich. And then Realmuto ends up leaving. Then you see, I think his name is Justin Bohr. I forgot
Yeah.
his
I
Justin
love
Bohr.
Justin Bohr, bro.
I
He
live
was
and
so good.
breathe that home run derby when he ate a donut during that timeout. When he
I
took a
was
break,
there. I was there,
oh
bro.
my gosh, dude. That
I
had to
was
be a
in that
top 10 Miami
stadium.
moment.
I have the jersey. I have the Aaron Judge jersey, and I was watching the first home run when he won the home run derby. I saw
Right.
Giancarlo Stanton, which was the year after he had won it, and then it was Bohr, Gary Sanchez, all these players that were playing, and I was so hyped. And then obviously Bohr hit like I think 27, and I'm like, yo, this guy's on crack.
You're
I'm
right.
like, bro, but he lost to Gary Sanchez, but still, like, man, you guys have this player that can hit home runs for you, but yet you release him or you trade him to a different team. I'm like, this team is mental, bro. You
Yeah.
have good players. They just trade him for money or for I don't know what
You just got to
stupidity.
go out there for the big names. You just got to go out for the big names. I mean, for even somebody like me, where like my main sport isn't baseball. However, being from South Florida, especially a market like Miami, I
Yeah,
understand people will notice when you bring in a name. Doesn't matter what sport it
for
is. It could
sure, for
be
sure.
it could be an MLS, it could be even an NHL, right? But Alexander Barkov and Jonathan Huberdeau were actually doing a lot for the Panthers, especially going into the postseason. People started to go out to Sunrise to watch hockey,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they bring in somebody over there in Miami. They'll definitely have something going on in Little Havana. But with that being said, Don Mattingly now most likely going to be away from the Marlins organization next season. He's going to basically finish out this season, but no longer with the team. And from at least the spill we had for the entire 10 minutes talking about this, a lot of Marlin fans, they're reminiscent of the old days, even though, yes, not really playoff days, but still, we do miss some of our good players from 2017, 2018, and all that. So Don Melly now out of the Marlins. Maybe we might have a change in culture. Maybe.
If I think if let's say 10 years down the road, if the Marlins still can't reach a playoff berth, because I think the 2021 with the pandemic was a little bit sus. I don't think that one counted.
Yeah.
I think if they don't make at least the playoffs in the next 10 years, just sell the team. Just sell the team.
And look, if they don't even make the
I'm
playoffs the
giving them the
next 10
10 year
years, I
span.
won't even take my kid to a game at that point.
Okay, what do you give them? 5?
Hopefully, hopefully 5. You're just to make the playoffs? Like, I'm
I
sorry,
would sell
man.
the team, give the stadium to UM, and let them play there.
You're just saying because you want UM to play in Miami. That's the reason why you're saying that.
Bro, it's like right now they don't know if the tropical park thing is gonna work out because it's a public park.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, sell the team, either get rid of the team because
At least
okay,
you
you
have
have
a
a team,
venue. No, you know what
you
I
have a
think?
venue, or sell or like or share the field.
That's what
Because
I was gonna say that.
they
That's not a bad
play on
idea.
Saturdays, and then just schedule the games that they have Saturdays away, and so
Right.
they play, and then you will pay for the field to like whatever just to fix it, the paint and everything, and then
Right.
when the players have to come and play baseball the next day, just fix the field up, and then there you go,
No,
ball
yeah, they
game,
did the
let's go.
same thing with Hard Rock when it was called like Sun Life to Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's not
exactly,
like they haven't done it before, where they had a football and a baseball venue. But I mean,
exactly.
again, because especially talking about you, John, because somehow you always relate something back to we
I
always
have to,
relate
bro. I
something.
have to. Because now because like I doubt the commissioners are gonna give a new stadium to new UM after Beckham and Jorge Mas
Yeah.
just approved one in Melreese, the
Oh
golf
yeah.
course.
Plus, I mean, we had Messi down here in South Florida.
Hey, and supposedly I hear rumors of Suarez and Busquets
Oh,
coming to
word,
in a
bro.
bro official. Like I'm like it's not official yet, but there's rumors that oh my god, I'm
Something's
hyped,
cooking
man.
in
I'm hyped.
Inter. Something's cooking in Inter. But we're already past by the hour mark. We might talk a little about Inter Miami stuff next week, depending, of course, of how they do in their games later on at the end of the season. So look out for Inter Miami news, Dolphin news, and of course, Miami Hurricane news and baseball news. Either way, that's going to end our podcast. We thank you again for joining.